Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with another edition of your weather hazard briefing. This is for Saturday, February 12th, 2022. So we do have a few things to talk about here as we go over the next week or so. First, very dry pattern continues across much of the Pacific Northwest, including the state of Idaho. That's courtesy of this persistent ridge of high pressure that's sitting just off the Pacific coast, and we'll have a great visual on this here in just a few minutes. But what we're seeing is an active storm track that's riding up and over that ridge of high pressure, and that's directing these storm systems into mostly Canada and at times into Montana, so well north of our southeast Idaho forecast area. So we really lie in wait right now. We're looking for a system that's strong enough to ride over that ridge and then kind of cut down into eastern portions of it, really exert its influence, and finally bring us a little bit of snow. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for that to happen, still seeing some fog and low stratus issues out there, and that's really only our only weather-related impact across the region. There's a little bit of hope. Just a little bit of hope. I don't want you to get too excited about this, but it's there. We're seeing signs that that stronger system that we just talked about could arrive Monday evening into the day on Tuesday with at least some chance of snow. Snowfall totals have ticked up just a little bit in the forecast here, but confidence does remain a bit low. This system actually, as it comes down over southeast Idaho, may split into kind of two different pieces of energy that may at least partially miss our region. So there's a few different dynamics going on here that kind of lowers our confidence levels and snowfall amounts, and totals are still likely to be pretty light overall. But hey, it's something in this dry pattern that's dominated our weather here for a little while. Okay, breaking down the next 5 days geographically here. First thing we have to talk about this morning is that fog and low stratus. So areas of the Snake Plain into the eastern Magic Valley, some of the adjacent valleys to the south of American Falls and Pocatello, and then down into the Raft River region, seeing quite a bit of dense fog this morning. In fact, as of this recording, visibility is down to 1/10 of a mile to 3/4 of a mile at Rexburg, at Idaho Falls, across the INL, down at McCammon, out at the interchange of I-84 and I-86, out to Burley, Jerome, and Twin Falls. So quite a bit of impact this morning with that dense fog. We do lean a little drier, possibly, as we go into Sunday morning. So right now, we're not really carrying fog in the forecast. That could change as we monitor things here, particularly low-level moisture, but probably trending into less fog for Sunday morning as well as Monday morning. Now, here comes that system. Here's our hope of at least a little bit of snowfall across the region starting on Monday evening. That's why I have PM snow showers, maybe some rain showers mixing into the eastern Magic Valley. I only lit up a few areas here with minor impacts. Down across the Lost River, or I should say up across the Lost River, Wood River Valley area, Sawtooth and Lemhi County. So basically the Central Mountain region, mostly because this is the area where we have the best chance of seeing enough snow showers early enough Monday evening to maybe start to see some slick roadways. So that's why we have that area right there lit up. Going to be a little bit of a later show and lighter snow shower activity arriving elsewhere. So Tuesday, particularly Tuesday morning commute, will be the greater focus there for the rest of the region. Maybe a few additional snow showers on Wednesday. There's signs that there may be kind of a secondary piece of energy coming in behind this system that might keep some unsettled conditions and a few snow showers going. Confidence is low on that. We'll see how that pans out. Also, breezy conditions here on Monday afternoon and evening across higher elevations of the Central Mountain region, and I'll show you that here in a moment as well. Satellite this morning, there's a few really valuable things we can glean here. First, we do have that fog. If you see this bluish shading here on the satellite loop across the eastern Magic Valley, the Snake Plain, you can see the little fingers of fog and low cloud cover extending into some of the southern valleys. A little bit of a trend for that to work westward up into the Treasure Valley as well this morning. So we do have that going on. Outside of that, high pressure off the coast, and you can kind of see that active storm track if you follow these higher white clouds that are streaming down across Canada into Montana, a little bit into Idaho. These are much higher in the atmosphere compared to our fog and low stratus. And as we kind of zoom out to the bigger picture here, again, that high pressure ridge sitting just off the coast, and if you imagine we have a clockwise flow, if you follow my pointer around the high, you can see that storm track really well, where we have this moisture feed coming up to the northeast into western Canada, and then those clouds spill over the top of the ridge and come down across Canada and into Montana. So again, we're waiting for a storm system to get wrapped up in this flow and to dive southeast on the eastern side of this ridge to finally bring us some snow here in southeast Idaho. With that fog out there, we do have a dense fog advisory that's in effect until 10 a.m. You can see the areas lit up here, basically matching that satellite image we just showed you. Again, the eastern Magic Valley and Snake Plain corridor into some of the adjacent valleys. High-res guidance this morning shows the fog burning off for most areas between about 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. And nothing else going on as far as watches, warnings, and advisories across the rest of the broader region. A little bit hard to show fog this time of the morning because, well, it's dark out. But taking a look at the webcams out there, I can give you a few visuals here because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Here's I-84 out toward Valley Interchange west of Burley as of this recording, seeing some of that dense fog. Sage Junction on I-15 north of Idaho Falls, also seeing fog. And here's an image up along US 20 as you head up toward Rexburg, showing some of that fog as well. So touching quickly on fog safety, very basic here. Slow down is the biggest thing you can do. Turn on low beam headlights or fog lights if you have them. Drive slowly with caution. Leave lots of extra space between other vehicles in case you do need to stop quickly. Please do not stop on the roadway. Might see a little bit of icing out there. You know, temperatures are just cold enough. A little bit of freezing fog could deposit some isolated ice, few slick spots out there on the road, but visibility should be the broader concern this morning. High temperatures today into Sunday. A very slow, slight warming trend that we've seen the past couple days continues. Generally, temperatures topping out in the 30s for most areas, but a few locations here like Chalice, Stanley, down to Sun Valley, possibly exceeding 40 degrees. Twin Falls as well, down into Oakley. And then over here on the right for Sunday's temperatures, adding just another degree or two to that. And a few places possibly seeing 40-degree readings here for this weekend. Again, quiet weather outside of fog and low stratus clouds. No precipitation expected for any weekend activities out there across the region. Monday, with the system coming in, temperatures actually hold steady or creep up just another degree or two. Here's that breezy conditions we mentioned in the matrix or in the risk outlook, particularly up here across the Central Mountains. So most of the region not seeing terribly concerning values here for wind gusts. You can see some places only gusting about 10 to maybe as high as 20 miles an hour, but higher elevations are lighting up here across the Central Mountain region where we may see sustained winds reaching about 20 miles an hour and some gusts over 35 miles an hour, particularly as you get up above about 7,500 feet across that region with the system moving in. Again, snowfall amounts have ticked up just slightly, but still, I don't want anyone to get terribly excited about this system as far as really breaking our pattern. You can see maybe a dusting across most of southeast Idaho with the higher totals here up in the terrain. So Central Mountain region, generally looking at about 1 to 3 inches out of this system on Monday evening and then over the course of the day on Tuesday. You can see these high portions of the Sawtooth and Boulders here maybe shaded for a little bit higher, getting up toward 3 or 4 inches there. And that's the highest that we're expecting across the region. What are the chances of getting something a little bit more? This is a probability of exceeding 4 inches of snow, which certainly would be nice for skiing and certainly would be nice for our water and our snowpack across the region, but chances are near zero across the majority of the forecast area, getting up to about 30 to 40% chance here in the Sawtooth and Boulders of exceeding 4 inches of snow out of this Monday evening, Tuesday system. So we'll continue to watch trends, see if we can do better than this, but this is our latest and greatest forecast as far as the snowfall goes. Tuesday into Wednesday, as that system moves through, we do lose a little bit of ground on our temperatures. Nothing terribly destructive as far as cold air, but you can see readings generally topping out in the 30s here for most of the region. Warmest readings down here into the Eastern Magic Valley, where we may see mid to upper 30s Tuesday and Wednesday. So how does this all fit into the bigger picture? Is there more hope on the horizon beyond this system we just talked about? 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, still leaning below normal. We're still in this pattern where this ridge of high pressure here just off the coast is blocking a lot of those storm systems from getting in and sending, like we saw here, that active storm track up to the north into Canada and occasionally into Montana. We need to break that down to really get into a more favorable pattern to see some hits here in southeast Idaho as far as snowfall. Stepping out to 8 to 14 days, we're trending a little closer to normal here on the latest projections from the Climate Prediction Center. So that could be a good sign. And then as we step one more time into the 3-month period, so this is looking more broadly at the rest of February into March into April, a little bit of a sign of hope up here. We do have a chance of seeing some above normal chance of precipitation here across the Pacific Northwest, maybe extending a little bit into our southeast Idaho forecast area. So we'll keep an eye out here. These outlooks do change over time based on the latest data coming in, but certainly we do have a little bit of hope here as we look out over the next several weeks to several months. Certainly want to build up some more snowpack in the higher elevations because we are still in drought. We've made a little bit of progress at knocking this back, particularly with how wet we were during the December into early January timeframe, but all of our forecast areas still coming in at least moderate drought, if not continued severe drought across the region. So we certainly could use some more of that moisture in the higher elevations. Final graphic I'll show you here to tie it all together. How are we doing over the broader course of winter here as far as water supply? So what this map is showing you is how close to normal are we as far as snow water equivalent. That's how much water is locked in the high elevation snowpack. If we're at 100, if you see a value of 100, that means 100%. That means we have the exact or nearly the amount of water we're supposed to have for this time of year, which is a very good thing. And you can see almost all of our mountain ranges here are coming in the low 100s or just below 100. So that wet period, that active, stormy, snowy period we saw throughout the month of December into very early January, still carrying us, even with all the dry weather here over the past month or so. We're still holding on to some decent snowpack. A couple basins here starting to drop into the 80% range. So these numbers are going to continue to fall unless we can bring in some of these more active storm systems and start to add some more snowpack at those higher elevations. And we will see how everything plays out here over the next few months. That's what we're looking at here for your Saturday into the next few days across southeast Idaho. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns for us, please feel free to reach out. And everybody have a great weekend.